is the Vyasa-puja offering to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, given by His Divine Grace Srila Harikesa Swami Vishnupad, recorded on August 24, 1981 at New Radhakund, Sweden.
Deo Gupidana Balaba Girivardhari Sodanandana Brajitana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajitana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Vanachari Deoradho Madhovo Kundavihari Madhovo Kunjavihari Dayam Vishnu Pada Paman Sabrajika Chastra Satasi Shima Chidani Goswami's Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Samraha Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Stiko Shri Krishna Chaitanya Purnachananda Sireti Gradha Sivasri Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai ISKCON BBT Founder Charya's Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kanivanani Ki Jai Mathura Dham Ki Jai Navadip Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Swami Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai Go Premanandi Hari Bol Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai All glories some of the devotees, all glories some of the devotees, all glories some of the devotees, all glories Sri Guru Ranga, all glories Srila Prabhupada. All the Prabhupada disciples should sit here. And everybody else move back. And just there in front of the deities, pick yourselves up and move. And the Prabhupada girl disciples sit over there. Just pick yourselves up, sit up, stand up, move. The Prabhupada lady disciples sit over there. Harika, how many times I have to tell you? Sit over. On this side, come on. Come up here. Come up. Sit around Prabhupada. Sit around Prabhupada like this. Prabhupada lady disciples there. Yeah. Keshanasana, come on up. You, here, move. Pick, no. Little brain, a little brain. Prabhupada disciples, sit like this, here. Yeah. The other bhaktas, move out. Just move out. Vahini Sudha, come on. Yeah. No more Prabhupada lady disciples? Padmavati and where's she? Hiranyangi. Kitchen. Chitrika, come on. I saw the face of Yadavendra in the crowd. Where is he? Okay. No one else, huh? Avanis, come up here. Where's Guru Ganga? Come up in the front. Here. He's cooking his pumpkin pie. And move. Move. Pick yourself up. Move. Anyone else? Where's Ravi? He's in the kitchen. Surya? Smita Krishna? Aristahe? First, we wanted to start by Sankirtan devotees made a big effort for Srila Prabhupada's book distribution movement last week, and especially in Switzerland. Extraordinary things were done. So, if you can read the results of Sweden first, mentioning the Prabhupada disciples, what they did. Yeah. If, besides Yogendra, there are any. Stand up, it's for Prabhupada. Hey, Prabhupada went out too? You're not on the list? Well, that's all right. Here, put down, tell us result. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was satisfied when they distributed one magazine.
So Yogendra, he did 418 books, 109 Krishna's Vad. And that was the weeks 33 and 34. We had a competition with the parties. The winner takes Srila Vishnupad's shoes. And for months and months, Yashoda Dulal's parties had them. There's been tremendous fights over these shoes for a long time. But this week we have new kings. And very appropriately, they are named Shri Gandharvika Giridhari Traveling Sankirtan Party. Happens to be the ladies' party led by Lord Chandas. They did 3,349 books, 195 new members of ISKCON, and 1,860 something Krishna's Vad, 8. And the number of points is 18,609 points. And defeated by about 600 points, Vishnupad's Dogs Traveling Sankirtan Party, led by Yashoda Dulal, 3,179 big books, 277 new members, and 997 Krishna's Vad, 18,177 points. And due to diminishing members in the Prabhuduta's party, they ended up in third place. 1,584 big books, 42 new members, and 346 Krishna's Vad, 8,476 points. So the individual winner in the marathon here, where is he? There. Was Lochan Das, Thakur Das, 811 big books, 45 members, 179 Krishna's Vad, 4,459 points. Number 2, the really upcoming man, is Tapana Mishra, 735 big books, 87 new members, 247 Krishna's Vad, 4,357 points. Number 3, Annapurna Devidasi, 712 big books, 57 members, and 227 Krishna's Vad, 4,066 points. Not bad. Yep. Quite some time now, too. Number 4. Number 4, Yashara Dulal, 671 big books, 84 members, and 257 Krishnas, 4,032 points. Number 5, Bhaktin Tina, a new big distributor coming up, 636 big books, 51 members, 220 Krishnas, 3,655 points. And there's some very good Bhaktins and Bhaktas coming up. Bhakta Tommy, 679 big books, 17 members, 67 Krishnas, 3,547 points. And very new on Sankirtan, Bhaktin Karin, 635 big books, 15 members, 81 Krishnas Vad. 3,331 points. And number 8, Bhakta Losh, 545 big books, 31 members, 301 Krishnas Vad, yeah. 3,181 points. Number 9, Mukunda, 549 big books, 58 members, 125 Krishnas Vad, 3,160 points.
A lot of nice depth.
Pardon?
A lot of depth.
A lot of depth, yeah.
A lot of depth. Everybody doing good.
And number 10, the biggest surprise of them all, I must say, Bhaktin Erika, 555 big books, 28 members, 183 Krishnas Vad, 3,098 points. 11, Janeshwar, 537 big books, 7 members, 56 Krishnas Vad, 2,776 points. And, unusual for him, in the 12th place, Trilokanath Das, 482 big books, 10 members, and 156 Krishnas Vad. 2,660.
What's wrong with you? What is this?
He switched to a new book.
Huh? Why?
Because we ran out of your books.
All right. Good.
He's the top distributor of your books. Then, when he ran out of those, he was finished for a while. Everyone is eagerly awaiting the new printing of your book.
Better you distribute Prabhupada's books.
Combination. Number 13, Yogendra Das, 418 big books, 16 members, 109 Krishnas Vad, 2,279 points. Number 14, doing it by herself in the hard place in the center, Mahalakshmi Devidasi, 293 big books, 22 members, 408 Krishnas Vad, 1,983 points.
Why are they doing this then?
Pardon?
Why are they doing this then?
She smashed her van, so she had to stay in Stockholm.
Oh, there's no more car.
That's right. Lord Chan took the traveling party up north.
Just see. Reactions.
And then we have...
Smashing vans is not good because one day you're going to smash you too. You're lucky you didn't get smashed.
Very lucky in this case. Krishna's special protection.
Of course Krishna will protect.
But then we have part-time distributors, 3, 4 of them. And Guru Das, 147 big books, 9 members, 25 Krishnas Vad, 805 points.
Right. He did very nice service here last week. Without Guru Das, nothing would have gotten done around here. So Krishna sent him back.
Yes.
To help us.
Number 16, Bhaktin Leana, 53 big books, 2 members, and 32 Krishnas Vad, 391 points.
One day? That's pretty good.
She's our star candle carver in the streets and selling a lot of candles.
It was very good one day.
And here we have I didn't know she went out. She was so sick she couldn't work. Kunti Devi Dasi, 50 big books and 50 Krishna's Vad and 300 points.
Jai.
Altogether that makes 8,533 big books, 538 new members for our ISKCON Society Sweden, and 2,760 Krishna's Vad. So the interesting thing is
Cumulative.
the cumulative, where we find that a tremendous, fierce fight is shaping up among the three first ones. Number one still, although he never wins anything except members nowadays, but he always keeps very close to the top.
You see, that's why we do cumulative.
That is, although he lives on past victories also, but the upcoming man is rapidly catching him.
Uh-oh.
Number one, Yashura Dulal, 6,287 big books.
Haribol.
Number two, that he's got a cumulative score of 37,167. Now listen to this. Number two is Tapana Mishra with 6,379 big books. In other words, more books, but less members and a few less Krishna's Vad. 36,224 points.
That's really close. That's really close.
Yep.
Looks like your Yashoda's finished. Where is he?
He's over there.
You better watch out.
And also good, although it dropped this week, Trilokanada's 6,395 big books and 33,633 points.
Haribol.
Doesn't work. Someone made a miscalculation here because that's better score than Tapana Mishra. No, but he has, according to your calculation, 33, oh, right. Okay, you win. 33,633 points. So he does very good books. He's the best so far, but he has very few members.
He's going to win the book score.
Yep. So, Lochan is number 4. He's got...
Just read the positions.
Alright. Number 4, Lochan.
Jai.
Number 5, Annapurna. Devi Dasi. Number 6, Bhaktalosh. Number 7, Yoginza. Number 8, Kunta Devi. Number 9, Mukunda. Number 10, Bhaktintina. Number 11, Bhaktatomi, who just jumped in a few weeks ago, not long ago, so he's doing very well. Number 12, Ajamida. Number 13, Gurudas. 14, Mahalakshmi. 15, Bhaktin Karan. 16, Bhaktin Lena. 17, Bhaktin Erika. 18, Janeshwar. And 19, Bhaktin Cecilia. And 20 is the temple.
Just.
So the big book distributor, accumulative, just the big books, is Trilokanath Das, number 1, number 2, Tapana Mishra, and number 3, Yashura Dulal. And the superior Krishna's Vad distributor is Mahalakshmi, number 2, Yashura Dulal, number 3, Annapurna. A member maker, superior, Yashura Dulal, Tapana Mishra, and Bhaktintina.
Very good. All glories to
Right.
Krishna.
Then we have our guests, tremendous scores,
But for only 9.5 days.
9.5 days. Number 1 in Switzerland, Rohini Sutta, 1,047 big books.
Rohini Sutta is one of Prabhupada's eternal all-stars.
All starting.
Prabhupada, when Rohini Sutta was the best book distributor in the world in 1977, so he was supposed to come to Mayapur to get a pair of silver kartals from Srila Prabhupada. So I said, Rohini Sutta, come on, we're going to go to Mayapur. And he said, no, I don't want to go. I said, what do you mean you don't want to go? All year long you were distributing books like mad. You're the best book distributor in the world. Everybody wants to see you. Srila Prabhupada wants to see you. And no, I'm going to stay here and distribute Prabhupada's books. So I went to Mayapur, and then Prabhupada was having his massage outside his room. So I came in and he said, so where's Rohini Sutta? I said, Prabhupada, I couldn't get him to come. He didn't want to come. He said, why not? He said he wanted to stay and distribute your books. Then he had a huge smile from here to there. And he said, very good. He said, so you'll bring the kartals to him? Yes, sir.
Sorry.
Once when Manidhar and Rohina, they distributed 503 and 504, or 502 and 503. 508. You did 18? And he did 21. 518 and 521 big books in 1 week, which in those days was in another universe. This is just straight out, everybody gives you a donation for the book, this book distribution. When Prabhupada heard about that, he was just completely astounded. He immediately dictated a telegram of congratulations and thanks and sent it off. So, all-stars.
Number 2 is also an all-star. Guru Shakti, 831 big books.
Jai, Haribol.
Number 3, Purushottama, 807 big books.
Jai, Haribol.
Number 4, but in only 8 days, Jagatananda, 504 big books.
Jai, very good.
Number 5, Vrindavan Purandara, 255 big books.
Jai.
And number 6, Yadunath, 197 books.
Jai, Haribol.
Making a total of 3,640 books.
Jai.
And the Austrian traveling Sankirtan party, or Sankirtan party, doing records this week. 2 weeks, is it? It's 2 weeks. 10 days.
They did records because they didn't have any books. Because they were deadbeats and didn't pay their debts. And then Jai Gurudev paid back all his debts in 3 weeks marathon, which was an incredible thing to do. Incredible. He had debts of 100,000 shillings. He paid it back in 3 weeks. That's pretty good.
And this is how he did it. Number 1, Ananda Vardhana, 753 LPs.
In 1 week.
And 10 days.
And 10 days, pretty good.
Sure is. Number 2, Jai Gurudev himself, 560 LPs.
You beat him? Pretty good. Why'd you let him beat you? But this is the week before Vyasa-puja. You should have smashed everybody. Shame on you. Okay.
Number 3, Agnideva, 519.
Very good, very good. Very good.
Number 4, Vivaswan, 224.
That's very good.
Number 5, Bhakta Koni, 10 LPs.
1 day. Okay, very good.
Making a total of 2,066 LPs.
Right. That, by the way, is extraordinary scores for Austria. If you know the Austrian history, that's extraordinary scores. So, up here you're just used to throwing on big numbers, but down there is a little place.
And Denmark. First distributor is
How many days?
14 days?
1 week.
1 week.
1 week.
So the best distributor there, number 1, is Pionidi, 294 sets and 118 big books.
Jai, very good. And he said yesterday he didn't distribute many books.
He distributes very well.
Just see, he's a liar too.
Number 3.
Tons of books. Who's number 2?
So no, number 2. Das Avatar, 338 sets.
Jai, Haribol.
And number 3, Adideva, 233 sets and 8 big books.
Jai, very good.
Number 4, Panchamukha, 140 sets.
Jai.
And I don't have a total here with this.
It's a lot. Jai. All glories to Srila Prabhupada's book distribution. This is the best way to glorify Srila Prabhupada on Vyasa-puja day. You just tell him how many books. Hey, speaking of books, where's the book display? Oh my goodness. This is the best way to glorify Srila Prabhupada, by so many books distributed. And of course it would have been nice to give him new books too, but somehow that didn't happen. But we're always giving Prabhupada new books. At this point I wanted to, along with some God brothers, chant the Vyasa-puja offering I wrote to Srila Prabhupada, which is in a special form, and then afterwards I'd give a purports to it. So we stand up. No, just us.
Just chanters.
Just the channels. Just the channels.
You're a chanter? No. What?
Also. Just the chanters. Just the chanters. You're not a chanter. We already practiced this. No. This world of darkness was devoid of the hope for freedom. The mass of people overwhelmed by the dense illusion. Until the moment when you landed in New York Harbor, then hope was dawning like the sun. Prabhupada, Namo Namaste. The external energy of Krishna in the form of matter conceals the living entity from his real nature. He will burn in the fire of Maya, totally bewildered, until doused in your cloud of mercy. Prabhupada, Namo Namaste. You brought us to reality, asking us to taste it, while imploring us to see what's fantasy and reject it. You exposed our desires to enjoy and control like Krishna, and we fell at your lotus feet in thanks. Prabhupada, Namo Namaste. We are eternal servants of the Lord, not at all the master. You engaged us in serving Him to make us learn it faster. Everything we needed to know about Krishna you told us. Through you we serve the Lord. Prabhupada Namo Namaste. Our lives become complete if we wish to fulfill your mission. We must print and distribute all your books without reservation. In every language of the world, every book completed, till everyone has a full set. Prabhupada Namo Namaste. Teaching the message of the Lord everywhere under all conditions, and bringing all the people within your spiritual dominion, engaging them in serving Krishna in the Varnashram system. We will finally attain your mercy. Prabhupada Namo Namaste. Prabhupada, you have left us with the order to battle Maya, and by your mercy we are burning with intense desire to transform this dark world burdened with cheating rascal demons to a place where all people chant Prabhupada Namo Namaste. Jai Srila Prabhupada. This world of darkness was devoid of the hope for freedom, and the mass of people overwhelmed by the dense illusion. Until the moment when you landed in New York Harbor, then hope was dawning like the sun. Prabhupada Namo Namaste. So this is a song in glorification of Srila Prabhupada's great mission to distribute Krishna consciousness all over the world. And therefore, at the end of each verse, we respectfully offer our humble obeisances unto the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. This world is filled with darkness. It is a place of ignorance. It is a place devoid of spiritual light. It is described that in this dense darkness of the age of Kali, the only way to get light is through the Srimad Bhagavatam. The Srimad Bhagavatam will give light to those who are searching for something higher, some spiritual vision in this age of Kali. Because otherwise it is a dense darkness of illusion. This dense darkness is just like a night when it's very cloudy and there's no stars, there's no moon, you're in the forest, there's no street lights, nothing's there. It's a big forest, all the trees are there, further blocking off whatever little light might have passed through the dense cloud, and you're just standing there underneath these trees, heavy dark black. Heavy dark black, that's what the world is like. It is like a place where there's no light, no sun, no moon, no stars, no nothing. Just dense, dense, dense darkness. So, in such a place, there's no hope. There's no hope for people to get free from this dense mode of ignorance. Or else they're wrapped up in the mode of passion, running around like animals. There's no hope to get freed from such situation. And everybody is completely overwhelmed by this dense illusion. There's no way to get out of this bondage of illusion. Krishna says, Daivihe shagunamayi mamamaya durachaya. This material energy of mind, because it is my energy, is not possible for a particular living entity, singular living entity to overwhelm it, overcome it, because he's overwhelmed by Maya. And because he's overwhelmed by Maya, he doesn't know how to get freed from Maya, because he's a victim of Maya. We are all victims of Maya. Krishna's external energy is very heavily covering everybody. However, just like in that dense night, even though there are clouds and even though one may be in the forest, when the sun just begins to dawn, immediately the whole thing changes. You can at least see something. You can at least see something. Maybe not clearly, maybe not perfectly, but you can see something. So, at that moment when Srila Prabhupada landed in New York Harbor, hope dawned, just like the sun. Just like the sun is dawning after the dense night. So at that point in time when he landed, hope was dawning. It was the beginning, something, but it was the dawn. Now, one should not say, what is the dawn? Just a little bit of light, just a little bit of the sun peeking over the horizon. But no, when you see that, everybody feels filled with hope. Joy comes at dawn, after a long, dense night, and then there's some light coming. Everybody feels immediately something is there, something. And now when the sun comes up, it'll get brighter and brighter and brighter. It must. When the dawn is there, the noon must also come. If the dawn is there, the noon must be there. That is a fact. You can't avoid it. So similarly, when Prabhupada landed, that little dawning was there. Immediately, great hope was arising in this world, that there's a possibility now, there's a possibility that things are going to change and that this dense darkness of illusion will be sliced away. That was the great hope. The external energy of Krishna in the form of matter conceals the living entity from his real nature. He will burn in the fire of Maya, totally bewildered, until doused in your cloud of mercy. Prabhupada, Namo Namaste. So, Krishna's external energy takes the form of matter and conceals the living entity from his real nature. It covers him totally. You cannot know yourself. You cannot know your real nature or your spiritual relationship with the Supreme Lord, or even have any idea that you are a spirit soul, because you're covered by the material energy of Krishna. It is very, very dense. Again, we are saying this is so completely hopeless situation. We have no idea. Given the example is just like if you are in an ocean, you're a turtle, a little turtle in an ocean, and there's a piece of wood floating with a hole in it. And you just happen to stick your head up through the ocean unconsciously, and you stick your head through the hole. That's what it's like to meet a spiritual master. Amongst all the billions and billions and trillions of living entities, it's like a great ocean. And the amount of living entities who meet a spiritual master is so rare. It is like a turtle sticking his head up out of the ocean through a hole in a piece of wood. It is so inconceivable. And therefore everybody else, you can either say he's drowning in an ocean of Maya, he's drowning in the waves of nescience, or he's burning in the fire of Maya. Both examples are good. Whether you die by drowning or you die by burning, not much difference. If I say, how would you like to die? By drowning or by burning? It's the same. Gets you to the same point equally quick. So, whether the living entity is drowning in an ocean of nescience or he's burning in the fire of bewilderment, what is the difference? That's what's happening in this world. Either they're drowning or they're burning. The people who are drowning think, look at those guys who are burning. Unfortunate. And the ones who are burning think, look at the ones who are drowning. Unfortunate. Then they both go, and look at those who are being stomped under the feet of elephants. Oh, isn't that too bad? They all feel like there's, compassion towards others who are in a worse situation themselves. Oh, that's the difference. Either you're being stomped under the elephant's feet, or you're burning to death, or you're drowning. What is the difference? So that is the nature of this world. But the fire of material existence, this has been used by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Samsara dhavanarali loka tunaya karana ganaganatva patasya kalyana gananavasi. The spiritual master, there's a great fire, forest fire, called samsara, which we are all burning in, the samsara, cycle of birth and death. And it is like a great devouring forest fire. And the only way that forest fire will be put out, generally you cannot put out a forest fire. Nobody even tries. All they do is they strip a big area free of wood, and they try to keep the fire contained to whatever spot it's already going in. Because you cannot put it out. No one can put it out. It's impossible. You can bring every fire truck on earth. You're not going to put out a forest fire. It's just blazing. They've never succeeded. All they do is just give it a chance to burn itself out. And that's what everybody does in this world. Generally, they're just burning uncontrollably. Fire is raging everywhere. But in some cases, they may have some little material advancement. So then they manage to strip an area and just let it burn out a specific part. You know, you burn out a part of your brain and you burn out a part of your body, but somehow the rest of it goes on. As in the material world, things go like that. But until there's some very special mercy. In other words, if there's a big rain cloud, if there's a storm coming, and rain pours like anything, that's the only way to put out a forest fire. In other words, we can't do it. It has to come from above. So similarly, this forest fire of the dense illusion of our suffering condition of life can only be put out by the cloud of mercy that pours down from the spiritual master, and no other way. Therefore, when doused by the cloud of Srila Prabhupada's mercy, that will take away the fire, the pains of the fire of bewilderment. Now, you brought us to reality asking us to taste it, while imploring us to see what's fantasy and reject it. You exposed our desires to enjoy and control like Krishna, and we fell at your lotus feet in thanks. Prabhupada, Namo Namaste. He brought us to reality, and he said, now look, this is reality. Krishna consciousness is reality. You are a spirit soul, eternal servant of Krishna. That's reality. Reality is your constitutional serving position, this relationship. This is reality. Now chant Hare Krishna, dance in ecstasy, taste prasadam, enjoy it. Come on, come on, come on. Srila Prabhupada is always saying, come on, always. Just like when he wanted to give you some prasadam. Come on. Come on. I remember once in New York, I was recording Srila Prabhupada, his bhajans. I had one of these tape recorders you could do overdubbing, so he liked that. So we were recording Prabhupada's harmonium and then put mridanga on top. So I used to sometimes do good, sometimes bad. Very inconsistent. When I did good, he liked it. When I did bad, all havoc was breaking loose. So one day I did not very well recording Prabhupada because, you know, this was a long time ago. So after that, he was not very pleased. Went in to take prasadam. They brought in prasadam. And I was just sitting outside lamenting with my head in my hands. Oh, what have I done? And then Pradyumna was somewhere, just sitting there also. He was playing kartals. He was just sitting there too. Then all of a sudden Prabhupada said, Pradyumna, Harikesa, come here. We jumped up, ran in Prabhupada's room, shaking. Oh, now he's really going to give it to us because we did everything so wrong. Then he said, hold out your hands. Then he started piling up prasadam like this. I'm not joking. First he put all kinds of fruits and nuts and this and that. And then he piled ice cream. Like that. And it was drizzling and drooling all over the... They were trying to get... Prabhupada was always very merciful in that way. At the same time, though, while asking us to taste the nectar of reality, he was simultaneously imploring us to see what's fantasy and reject it. See, there's fantasy as well. There's reality and there's fantasy. That which is fantasy has got us completely absorbed. We are very much overwhelmed in fantasy. So therefore Prabhupada would implore us, just see this fantasy, just see that fantasy. See how this Maya in the form of the external sense objects of the bodies. Here's this nice woman's body, and the woman is thinking here's a nice man's body, and everybody's completely overwhelmed. So many times Prabhupada just said, look, just see the nature of this Maya. See the nature of this I, me, and mineness. See the nature of this nationalities or religions or colors. Or just see all this fantasy. Look at it. Examine it very closely. Avijayam cha vijam chayas tadvedo boyam saha. Learn nescience and knowledge side by side. And always in the Shastra you'll find a healthy dose of what is nescience. Learning and the gyan of what is nescience. And a healthy dose of what is Krishna consciousness. Always side by side. Always you find the positive and the negative aspects being described simultaneously. In this way you become fixed up in intelligence. You can understand what is Maya, what is Krishna. If you don't know what is Maya, then you'll accept Maya as Krishna because of foolishness. So therefore, he always told us, this is fantasy, now reject it. This is Krishna consciousness, now accept it. Accept everything favorable for devotional service and reject everything unfavorable for devotional service. The first two principles of surrender. Well, not only that, he exposed our desires. Prabhupada, he was always bringing people in, imploring them to reject fantasy, and exposing at the same time desires to control and enjoy like Krishna. Sometimes somebody would think he was managing very nicely and he would start organizing Prabhupada. Often some made the mistake of trying to organize Prabhupada, just like you organize everything. They wanted to organize Prabhupada that way. I was one of those rascals who tried to organize Prabhupada's translating work. I would always try to make all kinds of arrangements so he could translate more. And I was being pushed, by the way, by every GBC man and every BBT trustee in the movement. They used to call up all the time and say, why doesn't Prabhupada do more? You have to somehow make him do more. So I would, as the empowered representative of all of the devotees, I would somehow try to make arrangements for Prabhupada to translate more. So I would do all kinds of cheating, because people would always be knocking on his door to come in. So I would always say, oh, he's taking rest now. Or, yeah, he's taking bath right now. He's eating right now. He'll have to come back later on. And so this way I cheated everybody. And then Prabhupada would say, where is everybody? I'd say, nobody came today, Srila Prabhupada. He said, how is that possible? Nobody came. Because yesterday so many people were coming. Today nobody is coming. Maybe they want to help you produce your books, or they want to keep you free so that you can translate some more. So I made the arrangement. Prabhupada, of course, agreed that he would not only translate at nighttime, he would translate during the afternoon starting about 4 o'clock. So I had very sealed off his room. I posted guards at all the doors. Nobody was to make a sound. No one was to blink even. And I wouldn't let anybody in the door. Nothing would happen. And then Prabhupada would translate. So then this went on for a day or two. Then Prabhupada said, he was up in his upstairs room. He could look downstairs. This was in Vrindavan. We were there for a long time. He said, I see people are coming. I said, no, Srila Prabhupada, they're just walking around. He said, no, I see them coming to the door. Well, he said, then you should go downstairs and you should sit there and you should speak to the people darshan. I said, me? He said, yes, it will benefit you, it will benefit them. I said, well, all right, Srila Prabhupada. I figured anything to keep him translating. So I went downstairs and sat there, and there were 2 people came in. Then they took one look at me. Then they left. So I said, So Prabhupada said, well, how did it go? I said, well, there were 2 people and they left. I said, just see. That is why I have to go down there and preach. All right, I surrender. Then he went and did it. All different ways. I used to cheat all the time, tried to cheat so he would translate more. And he said, you have no idea what this translating work is like. You think it is just like you're typing. Moving your fingers like this. It is not this moving the fingers. I have to say it is a difficult work. You cannot push me like that. And then I had to stop. So this is one example. There are many examples of when we tried to control Prabhupada, sometimes for very good reasons. But sometimes he would say, you are trying to take over the movement. He never said that to me, but he said that to others. At one point he would just, you're trying to take over the movement, you rascal. You're trying to kill me. Everybody would be astounded. What is this? He would expose. When that little subtle desire crept up in somebody, he would expose it immediately. And then, like the heart. It's like the first time, again in 1975, when I first joined Prabhupada at that time. So the first day I arrived at early in the morning. No, I arrived at noontime. The next day, the morning walk was. And then the former secretary was giving me the tape recorder to record Prabhupada's morning walk. So he said, yeah, sometimes we also take the position of the materialists, so that Prabhupada, has something to defeat on the morning walk. It's very good. So the next day I had the tape recorder, and I thought, now I'm going to be a really good materialist, and Prabhupada will be really inspired to smash me. So I started giving all kinds of arguments about the scientists and the moon and this and that. And Prabhupada started to smash me. He didn't accept that I was taking the position of scientist. He started to smash me personally. And then I was going, but I'm just trying to represent the scientist, Srila Prabhupada. He said, no, you! It was so heavy. It was like the heart was on the floor and he was just stomping on it. I couldn't even understand it. I was just bewildered. And I kept listening to the tape over and over again. I was just bewildered. My mind was completely bewildered. I didn't understand anything. And then I never said another word on a morning walk. Just kept my mouth shut, held the microphone. I learned my lesson. So Prabhupada, he was always just teaching this, always exposing us. And therefore, because of that, we fall at his lotus feet in thanks. Not because of some sentimentality or some idea, conception we have. No, because we have direct realization of how Prabhupada completely changed our lives. All of us. We have that direct perception. We have that direct realization how he ripped out of our hearts these nasty anarthas, abhadras, inauspicious things, and just smash them. That was Prabhupada's specific ability, just to pull out of the heart nasty things and replace it with very nice things. Like he used to say, this: if you have a handful of rocks, you can't take the halava. You have to throw away the rocks, then you can take. So Prabhupada would first get rid of the nasty things and replace it with very nice things. We are eternal servants of the Lord, not at all the Master. You engaged us in serving Him to make us learn it faster. Everything we needed to know about Krishna, you told us. Through you, we serve the Lord. Prabhupada, Namo Namaste. So, this point that we are the eternal servants of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the most important point of all. Because from that point, all perfection will come in spiritual life. Because all contamination comes from this false identity. Sometimes devotees say, why do I get bewildered? Why do I fall into Maya? Why am I unable to surrender to Krishna? Why this, why that? It's very simple. Because of the false identity. That is the first covering of the soul. And if that covering is changed, all other coverings follow immediately. Therefore, Prabhupada went right to that point, right to the source. Other philosophers, other philosophies will attack it from the external point of view, with external processes or external yoga or philosophical speculations, how to control the senses, how to control the mind, or how to put oneself in a proper place, and like this, externally, and then gradually come up to mind, intelligence, and then identity, then soul. But Krishna consciousness goes directly to soul by attacking that covering of false ego. And therefore all the other coverings then automatically become purified, because the higher nature is superior to the lower nature. Injyani praniyahu injyebhyak parak manaha manasastu paro manobuddhya yo buddhe paratastu sa. The gross matter is the most lowest point. The senses are superior. The mind is superior to the senses. The intelligence is superior to mind, and the identity is superior to intelligence, and the soul is superior to all. Therefore, if we purify the false identity, then all other purification follows automatically. So therefore, Prabhupada engaged us as the eternal servants of the Lord. First of all, he told us. Second of all, he engaged us that way. We are not at all the master. We are eternally the fallen, conditioned souls. And when we come out of that condition and serve Krishna, then we are eternally the servants of Krishna. But in no situation are we ever the masters. Either we are the fallen, conditioned souls who are under the influence of Maya, or we are the eternal servants of Krishna. We are always the servants of Krishna. But when we realize it, we come under the control of Krishna. But we're never the master. We're always the servant. And therefore, Prabhupada, after telling us such, engaged us that way accordingly to make us learn that fact even quicker. It is not that we just sit around all day and talk to each other, oh, I'm the eternal servant of Krishna, yes, you're the eternal servant of Krishna, and we don't do anything. This is not a do-nothing movement. This is a do-much movement. And therefore, we are engaged under Srila Prabhupada. Everything we do here has come from Srila Prabhupada. The fact that we are fanning Srila Prabhupada, that had to be taught to us by Srila Prabhupada. All the deity worship was taught directly by Srila Prabhupada. How to worship spiritual master, this came from Prabhupada's books. This very fact of this temple room, the prasadam we are eating was first cooked by Srila Prabhupada. And we learned how to cook from him. Of course, some not so well, others better. But anyway, he was the origin, whether there's a perverted reflection of it, not nowadays, where he was the origin. He was the first book producer and book distributor. Prabhupada was the first and best at everything. Best book distributor, book publisher. Even in all kinds of conditions. He said it when I was in Delhi distributing my Back to Godhead magazine. It was so hot. In Delhi in the summer, it's inconceivable hot. Inconceivably hot. And it was so hot, he said, I was getting fever. I was delirious. And I was just walking like a drunkard man in the street, waving back and forth in the traffic. Because I was so sick from the heat stroke. But still I was distributing the Back to Godhead. And this is at the advanced age of 65. So, Prabhupada was the first and best at all these different activities. He was always the best. Whatever he did, he was always the best. This is Prabhupada's nature. From early lifetime. To be always excelling in whatever he did. So Prabhupada's also the best musician. Yeah. We just steal all of his things. I said that yesterday. Prabhupada's the best musician, the best creator of musical ideas. All Prabhupada's melodies are original melodies. They're not. Most of Prabhupada's melodies are original melodies. He didn't just imitate some others. Very beautiful. So, everything we needed to know about Krishna, you told us. Whatever we need to know about Krishna, we find in these books. All information, complete. There's no problem. And if you know these books, you know everything. And you'll be able to speak anywhere. Even once, we were in a meeting in a Madhvacharya Sampradaya sect, and their Acharya was there, and he's a very learned scholar, pretty famous too, written many books on the Rig Veda and other Vedic literatures. Of course, anyway, so he was a very nice man also. So I gave a lecture, and it was funny, they chanted some Sanskrit slokas, and because Prabhupada had sung the prayers of King Kulashekar, I knew them from hearing. So they sung the prayers of King Kulashekar. And because Prabhupada gave purports on the prayers of Kulashekar, I also knew what they were. So, these people thought I knew Sanskrit. Because all I did, I said, yes. And these prayers of King Kulashekar, and I just started talking. And on, I just went from Prabhupada's books. And this Acharya, he was so astounded. He was just sitting there, he was crying. He was just crying. And he said, I cannot believe this Swami Prabhupada has created such... he was astounded. He said, and all I did was just cheating. I mean, I just repeated everything Prabhupada said. I was kind of shaking. Well, I don't know, what am I going to say here? All these scholars, because we're generally not scholars. We're not known as scholars. But actually, Prabhupada is such an enormous scholar among scholars. These other scholars, they may know a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there. But the enormous range of knowledge which Prabhupada gave us is so vastly superior to the scholarship of any mundane scholar, or even the spiritual scholars have to fall at Prabhupada's feet. Such enormous knowledge is being given. And if you simply repeat it, that's not cheating. I said that as a joke, but it's not cheating. That is the perfection. You just simply repeat what Prabhupada has said, and everybody will be astounded how you've learned all these things, how you know all these things. Of course, in the Western world, they don't take that so seriously. They don't appreciate so much. But in India, these big acharyas, when they hear Americans or Swedes or anybody, Swiss, speaking this philosophy, then they're just astounded. Young people, we're not old. None of us here are old, especially they're 60, 70 years old. None of us are old compared to them. And when we speak this philosophy nicely, just repeating what Prabhupada said, they're just so amazed. So amazed. And that is our great glory. That can become our glory. We just repeat what Prabhupada said. Not that we invent something new, we just repeat. That's our glory. According to our realization, everybody will be astounded. Therefore, through Prabhupada we serve Krishna. All of us here. Nobody in this room is serving Krishna except through Srila Prabhupada. Now some are serving him through me. Some may serve Srila Prabhupada through me, but still we must serve Srila Prabhupada. Others are serving Prabhupada directly. But through Prabhupada, one way or another, we're serving Krishna. There's no way you can serve Krishna directly. It must go through the disciplic succession, all the way to the lotus feet of the Lord. Our lives become complete if we wish to fulfill Prabhupada's mission. We must print and distribute all his books without reservation. That is my mission. There's no difference. How can there be a difference? Prabhupada said, you print and distribute all my books in every language throughout this world. And I know, it's my specific mission. Either I must do it directly, or I must assist others to do it, or I must encourage others who don't do it. But it must get done. All his books in every language. There are so many languages. You can't imagine how many languages there are on this planet. I once saw a complete list of the languages of this planet. It's astounding. In Russia alone, there's something like 53 languages. In India, I don't remember how many. There's 70 languages. In China, how many languages there are? So many languages in this world. Every one of his books in every single language of this world. That means there's a lot of work for the BBT. BBT has a lot of work. And then, we BBTers, we just fill up the warehouses, and then we distributors, we have to empty the warehouses. We're always fighting. One wants to keep the warehouses full, the other wants to keep them empty. This way there's always a competition going on. Fill them up, empty them out. Fill them up, empty them out. The printers are completely amazed. They just can't imagine it. How this is happening. Up here we print so many books that we have left the whole of Scandinavia in the dust. It's a fact. No, I don't think most people know that we are by far the biggest publisher in Scandinavia. By far. What, 4 times bigger than the next nearest competitor? Yeah, that's what Almquist and McSallen, huh? 4 times bigger? We print 4 times more books than the next nearest publisher.
Yeah, of course now they come together to concepts.
Oh, now they're cheating. I remember this figure from 5 years ago. We were 5 years ago that way. So anyway, since 5 years ago, we've gotten at least 5 times bigger. So we still must be the biggest.
The amount of books we print, I mean, is like 10 times as big as normal in Sweden. I think, for example, if the ordinary publisher in Sweden printed the Bhagavad Gita, that they will 2,000.
And we printed 135,000. 145. Do you know even in Germany, we are considered the second biggest publisher in Germany? Yeah. Nobody knows that. We don't advertise that. But that is a fact. This Bhaktivedanta Book Trust is one of the biggest publishing companies in the world. Yeah, it's amazing. And of the highest quality books, too. The Jehovah's Witnesses, they print more, far more. But they print these little cheap garbage books that are just so big on toilet paper. Of course, you don't have to tell them that. But anyway. I mean, we have a great pride of Prabhupada's Bhaktivedanta Book Trust. It is definitely the most important organization in the world. Prabhupada considers it much more important than ISKCON, by the way. He said ISKCON may fall, but the BBT must never. Because ISKCON may not fall. It will not either. But the BBT must go on. Prabhupada considered the BBT much more important than ISKCON. Therefore, sometimes Bhagavati complains to me. He says, the BBT's taken over the whole place. I say, great. He says, but there's nobody here. Everybody's either making books or selling books. I said, fantastic. So this is our mission. I mean, maybe the floor is not clean one day. But the floor must be clean every day. But maybe one day it's not clean. But if everybody's making books and selling books, then it's okay. Of course, if they're not doing that and the floor's not clean, then you're in Maya. You're rascals. So, every language of the world, every book completed until everyone has a full set in their home. How many people in the world? 3.7 billion? Now 4 billion? Every single one of those people in every house has to have a full set of Prabhupada's books. Then we can rest. Yeah, then we'll just go to some other place and make Prabhupada's books on another planet. In Sutal. We have contacts there. Teaching the message of the Lord everywhere under all conditions, and bringing all the people within your spiritual dominion. That means preaching even in far-off places. Of course, not many devotees are aware that some devotees are doing very heavy missionary work in very strange places. Like Dwarkesh, for example, is not here with us because he is in one of these strange places right now. He is going to places where even I can't stand to go. And he just stays there and just preaches. And very merciful person. Also Devamina, just taking care of this demoniac countries also. Very good preaching work, missionary work. There's also missionaries going on in Arabic countries. Of course, only one or two hardcore. But there are Prabhupada's hardcore heavy missionaries in very special places throughout this world who are preaching very, very dangerous and very difficult places. Now Tamal Krishna Maharaj is going to China and he's making big success. Big success. The Chinese government ordered 10,000 Bhagavad Gitas in Chinese. And they're distributing them through the bookstores, and they went like that. So, big preaching in the missionary. Prabhupada's spirit was not only to print and distribute books, but was to be missionary. And he wanted his devotees to be missionary. He didn't want them just to sit around. Whenever there was a temple which was accumulating men, he would send them out. Go here, go there, go here, go there. That is why also we sent Bharata to Norway and Dirashanta to Finland. That's nice. That's missionary. That's missionary work. To go where there's not temple, where there's not deities, where you don't have, fancy Mahaprasadam, and maybe there's a lot of, difficulties, and you got to go out and make all the money yourself and do all the preaching yourself and cook yourself and wash the floor yourself sometime. But that's what Prabhupada did. That's how Prabhupada first came to America. When he first came to America, he did all the cooking. He did all the purchasing. You can just imagine Prabhupada, 70 years old, had 2 heart attacks on the ship. He would go to the store. He first of all would collect the money somehow or another from donations. He'd go to the store, buy the food, bring it back, wash it, cut it, cook it, serve it, and wash the pots. And wash the floor. Prabhupada personally did it. Just imagine. That's missionary spirit. Nowadays, we have big positions of big shots. We don't do anything. But Prabhupada did all these things. So it's amazing. Missionary spirit. Prabhupada instilled also. There are many examples of Prabhupada's disciples doing that as well. But that's missionary. That's teaching the mission of the Lord, teaching the message of the Lord everywhere under all conditions. Under all conditions. Sometimes it's really hell. This missionary business is sometimes really hell. In India, when we first went to India, the conditions we had to live in, specifically in Bombay, were beyond hell. They made hell look good. Then later on, in Eastern Europe, first time I went to Eastern Europe, let me tell you this. There was no place to live. So we lived in the van, and then we got finally a house where the holes in the walls were this big, There was strips of, and it was something like 25 below. And the wind was something like 40 kilometers an hour. And we didn't have enough blankets, and there was no heater. So we're shaking and shivering and freezing to death, and it's me and Alanath Swami. And there was no bathroom. There was just a tap outside. And this tap outside had dripped all night long. You couldn't turn it off. So by the morning you got there, the bucket underneath was just a solid coat of ice. So you had to take your loda and smash a hole in the ice. And finally when you smash the hole in the ice, then you start throwing the water on. And there's only one thing that kept me putting the water on. And I was thinking, Austerity is the wealth of the Brahmins. That Prabhupada wants this, all right? Prabhupada wants this. Takes 3 hours to unstiffen. So, and then so many people are chanting and dancing. So we sent pictures to Prabhupada, a little letter to Prabhupada, and he would send back so much thanks and so much mercy, you see. Prabhupada, he knew what hellish conditions it is to preach, because he went through them himself. So he knows anybody who had to go out to one of these places to preach, he had to go through hell, because it's the way it is. And he would be so merciful in response. So merciful. He would write very nice letters. He would just throw his mercy. When you're out there and you're just miserable and you think everything's finished and the whole world's against you, and then Prabhupada would just manifest before you and just encourage you to go on. Some of the Sankirtan men must have this experience too. Sometimes when things are really, really, really tough, the disciples, the spiritual master will do this. Prabhupada just, this experience, Prabhupada just comes and picks you out of this, dusts you off, puts you back together again and says, go. Only by his mercy can we go on like this. Now Prabhupada definitely wants that all people are brought within his spiritual dominion, which means under the shelter of his books. And to engage everybody in the Varnashram system, he said, if I would live, this was just before he passed away, if I was to live, we have our temples, we have our books, we have our distribution. Now I want Varnashram. It's the last thing, he said. Now I want Varnashram started. So we have to engage people within this Varnashrama system. And that we're doing gradually, subtly, by being the Brahmanas. And it is gradually happening, It's very nice, this membership of Krishna's world does a step in the right direction. And this Radio Krishna, teaching everybody through the radio, very good. And just by distributing books, this is gradually bringing everybody under Prabhupada's dominion. We will finally attain your mercy. That means work now, samadhi later. We have these things to do, and once we've done these things, then Prabhupada will give us his mercy. We will finally attain the mercy of attaining the shelter of Prabhupada's lotus feet. Prabhupada said, for those who are my confidential associates, they will go with me, wherever I am, next planet, and assist me in starting ISKCON there. Prabhupada, you have left us with the order to battle Maya, and by your mercy we are burning with intense desire to transform this dark world burdened with cheating, rascal demons to a place where all people chant, Prabhupada, Namo Namaste. So, Prabhupada left us with this order. The Vani is more important than the Vapu. The Vapu is this bodily association, but the Vani is more important than Vapu. Vani means instructions. The instructions of the spiritual master are more important than his bodily association. Prabhupada left us bodily, physically, but he is present before us as his Vani or his instructions. And by those instructions we are battling Maya. And it is a battle. How many victims are there? How many Prabhupada disciples are there left? Started with 5,000. In total. There never were more than 3,000 active ones at one time, at the peak. And now how many are left? 800? Maximum? 800? I think it's 750 or something like that. It's that many. And it diminishes. Why? Because it's a battle. We're fighting Maya. Sometimes Maya slaughters. In a war, the soldiers get slaughtered. And sometimes Maya slaughters. But still, we have to fight on. Not get slaughtered. Prabhupada once said, everybody in this world is being victimized by the arrow of Cupid. Don't become one of them. We have to avoid it. We have to just stand strong. And if we do, we will fight Maya and we'll succeed. If we don't, we'll just become another victim, another offering on the floor, bleeding offering on the floor. Therefore, we have to remain strong to battle Maya. And by Prabhupada's mercy, we can have that intense desire. to transform this dark world. This world is dark, I've explained. It's burdened with cheating and rascal demons. This world is burdened with rascal demons like anything. But if we just go on pushing Krishna consciousness movement, we'll transform this whole place to a world where everybody chants Prabhupada. Namo Namaste. So, that is the purport of the Srila Prabhupada Samhita, as it's called. So it's 11 o'clock. At 11 o'clock, there should have been the offering to Srila Prabhupada. Oh, kitchen! By whose watch? Is your watch the authority? Whose watch is the authority? Jai. So now in my watch it says 11:02. Huh? And Avinash Chandra's watch agrees. So on Vyasa-puja day, Prabhupada disciples' watches are the truth. And there should be a barrier put up around here. Huh? A cloth barrier, or one of these folding wooden things, so that Prabhupada's plates. Get the barriers, quick. Chichikar, help them with this. Revada, help them get some barriers together. Barriers are coming? Yes. All right, never mind. And while Prabhupada is taking prasadam, Bhagavan and Ajit and, sorry I took so much time, I didn't mean to. Bart, to stand there and grab that cloth. Cover. Yeah. Bhagavan should speak Vyasa-puja and then Ajit. And then at 11:20, I'm really sorry I did this so long. We're going to have this Pushpanjali ceremony of offering flowers to Prabhupada, and 11:30 Artik.